In certain areas of life, we understand you're not going to get into your first relationship and crush it right away. You're not going to go on a diet for a day and crush it. You're not going to go in the gym and crush it. You're not going to ride a bike the first time. You're not going to snowboard. You're not going to surf. None of that's going to happen the first couple times you do it. Yet with money, we have this completely different expectation for how it's supposed to work.
Yep. When I met Heather in college, and I fell in just head over heels in love with her. And one day I took her out for a walk. I said, "Can we go for a walk?" And I went out there and I poured my heart out. And I'm like, I really like you a lot, and I can't stop. And I really like you, and I want to get closer to you. And she said, "Oh, that's nice."
Oh,
That's nice.
oh my gosh.
Oh, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I like you too. You're a good friend." Oh,
Gives you a little back pat.
You know
buddy.
what? Yeah. But you know what I did a week later? I took her out again. I was like, "No, you don't understand. I really like you. And I need this. I need more."
Oh, that's good, man. How many people have reached out to a mentor, shot their shot, poured their heart out, got rejected, and just said, "I can't ever do that again"?
Yep. So many.
Do you think there's a correlation between how much rejection a person is willing to go through and how successful they're going to be?
Yep. Very much. And that's why the best salespeople are just the best at taking rejection.
Yeah.
Like the best door-to-door salespeople, like I know some really great salespeople. The best ones are the ones that can just it doesn't phase them, get rejected. It took me 4 tries to ask Heather out before she finally said yes. And I basically had to give her an ultimatum. I was like, "I can't be your friend anymore." I was like, "I love you too much." I don't think I said love, but I was like, "I am so obsessed with you." And it hurts every second of every day. And she's like, "Well then," and I was like, "I can't be friends. I'm done. I'm breaking this up. I'm no longer a friend." And she goes, I think her words were, "Fine, then just ask me out like a real man," or something like that. Because she's like, "You never actually asked me out. You did it in
and you were like, this whole time.
Yeah.
She's like pain and personal anguish.
Yep.
For
like,
nothing.
Yep. She's like, "You didn't ever ask me out." I'm like, "Of course I did. I did it like 4 times." She's like, "No, you didn't." And I'm like, "Yes, I did. I said I really like you, and I don't know what to do with this." She's like, "You didn't." That's
Isn't
not
it
asking
funny
me
how
out,
that,
right?
I know exactly what that means, and that person doesn't hear it at
Yeah.
all.
She was just like, "You were just telling me you liked me, and you know." I'm
Bro,
like,
my first
whoa.
experience telling a girl I liked her was almost the exact same thing. And it was the hardest thing at that time like I'd ever done in my life. I think this was before cell phones. So I remember like taking the phone off of the receiver and like calling her. And it was that same feeling of like I have this ache in my soul that's making me sick.
Yep.
Like I did not want to tell them how I felt. I did not want the rejection. I was pretty sure she didn't feel the same way, but it was like killing me.
Yeah.
So I finally did, and I think I said it along the lines of, "I just think you're really, really special, like more special than I've ever seen another person, and I like being around you all the time, and I think about everything I do, I want you there." And she started crying, okay? She still didn't understand. I was saying I like her, bro. Like she cried on the phone. It was like, "That's the nicest thing anyone said."
Oh,
yes, thank you so much.
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Well, how do you feel?" She's like, "I don't know. I need to think about it." I'm like, and so I thought, oh God, I don't want to push her.
Yeah.
Like this was the hardest thing I've ever done. She's probably feeling the same thing. Let me give her time. So I said, "Okay, well, why don't you think about it and call me back?" She goes, "Okay." And I'm holding my breath I'm expecting like in the next 5 minutes, the next morning, the next day. 5 days go by. She forgot about it.
Oh, jeez.
All day long, dude. This is all I'm thinking about the entire time. She forgets we had the conversation. She gets in a car accident, and I'm like, I want to call to check on her, but I'm afraid at the time. I know women listening to this probably have no way. They just think we're retarded, and we probably are. But like,
Do you want to re-say that?
Yeah. They just think we're stupid, and we are. We don't understand. I was thinking it would be taking advantage of her vulnerability now that she's been in an accident to go and ask this question or go talk to her when she hasn't had time to come back to me. Finally, I just called to check on her. And at the end of it, when I realized she's okay, I was like, "So what do you think about what we talked about?" She goes, "Oh yeah, I forgot all about that."
Yeah.
It's so weird how that can happen. And I just wonder how many people who have a goal, whether it's real estate investing or anything, that are trying to make connections, trying to make mentors, they want to sell more houses, they want to connect with a broker, whatever it is, that are in their own head, beating themselves up, having no idea the other person doesn't even realize it's happening.
Yeah, so the question is for people to think is, where are you being too vague? Where are you not being direct enough in your life? Are you actually asking to buy that person's house?
Yeah.
Or are you beating around the bush? Like,
I love this house.
Yeah.
So
This
I
is
wish I
great.
could own one just like this someday.
Right? Same with like business partners. Oh man, we'd be great together.
Yep.
It'd be great. Instead of like, what do you want?
Yeah,
like
that's
this is
so-
like Jerry Maguire. Is that the one who was like, what do you? No,
Help
it's
me help
Ryan.
you.
No, this is Ryan Gosling on The Notebook. He's like screaming at Rachel McAdams, like, what do you want? What do you want? And like she's like, I don't know. He's like, what do you want? Like that's what I'm asking people right now. Like, what do you want? You want to buy that house? You want to work with that partner? You want to borrow that money? You want to raise that capital? Go ask for what you want. You get what you ask for, not what you imply.
But what stops us from doing it is the rejection.
The rejection, the fear.
We don't
No,
want the
and
rejection.
I'm
It's not
afraid
worth
to.
it.
Yep.
There's a scene in Rocky Balboa where he's talking to his son, and his son's kind of lost his path in life. You know that scene I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And Sylvester Stallone's character, Rocky, is telling him, like, you need to go after what you want. You're making excuses. Winners don't do that. You're better than that. And he says, in life, it's not about how hard you hit. It's about how many times you can get hit and keep going. I get tingles every time I think about that, right? Like, I wonder if you could measure someone's resilience with rejection if there's a clear connection between how successful they are. How many times can life punch you, and can you stand in there and get punched over and over and over to learn the pattern of what punches look like before you start slipping them? And then eventually the other person gets tired, you can knock them out pretty easy. But all of us we have this fantasy that we want to walk in there and I hit so hard in one punch, it's easy, I never break a sweat. I'm amazing, and that's the person that we're trying to model ourselves after. And when it doesn't work out like that, we go, oh, I guess I just wasn't good at it. I tried it and it didn't work. Because there's people that do jujitsu that are incredibly good at it, that are walking around like complete nerds. You would never know. But I think it's one of the things, if you do that for like there's some kids in the class I go to that started when they were 5. And they're teenagers and they're just assassins. And like, but nothing else in life they're like that. They've just done it so many times.
Yeah.
Their brain has seen the patterns and they know the movements, and they see angles that someone like me that thinks about it all the time, I don't even pick up on. If you commit to real estate investing like that, if you do anything like that, you're going to be successful. So thank you for sharing that story.
Could I throw one more piece in there in a related way? I don't know how this connects to the actual toilet story that we started this conversation with, but I will say this. When it talks about asking for what you want and being direct, that means you need to get clarity on what it is you want in real estate. Let's talk real estate specifically here. There's something in Multifamily Millionaire Volume 1 that I talked about. I call it the crystal clear criteria. Oftentimes in commercial real estate, we call it the buy box. But crystal clear criteria is, what exactly do you want to buy next? And I want you, if you're listening to the show right now, grab a pen and paper, write these 5 words down, or 5 phrases down. Number 1, location. Where do you want to invest? Be specific. You can have multiple locations if you want, but just where do you want to invest? Know exactly where you want to invest. Number 2, property type. What type of property do you want to buy? Number 3, price range. Where do you want to buy in? What's your max? What's your min? Number 4 is condition. Condition, like, do you want ugly, nasty, gross, tear down? You want just land you want to build on? Like, what you want a nice property that's A class? Like, what do you want condition? And the last one would be what I call profitability. What makes it a good deal? Once you know that, it's like, hey, David, I'm looking for some real estate. Can you help me find some? You're like, yeah, whatever, right? But if I'm like, imagine me as a client of yours. I want a good deal. Yeah, I want a good deal. Yeah, no, David, what I'm looking for is I want something in the Bay Area, preferably the East Bay Area. I want something between $400,000 and $800,000. I'd love it to have an extra unit. I want it to be something a little bit of a fixer-upper because I really like that idea. And again, a house with an extra unit somewhere, or the ability to add an extra unit. And I just need this thing to break even on cash flow. That's what I'm looking for. Are you going to take me more seriously now?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Of course.
Right?
You know why people don't do that?
Why?
They are subconsciously putting the burden of solving the problem on the person they're talking to.
Ooh.
So what you had done with Heather was you, by saying, I'm a good friend, I like you, I like to be around you, but you never asked her out, is you wanted her to figure out, well, then we should go out sometime so you didn't have to feel that rejection. And I'm not criticizing you for that, because I think I do it all the time. I think a lot of people do it all the time, but that's where that comes from.
Oh, dude, can I take this to a... I'm going to take this to a PG-13 level real quick. So if you got kids listening to this, maybe skip the next 30 seconds. But men do this all the time in regards to sex with their wives,
right?
Or their girls, right? They imply what they want. Like, they would love to have more sex. They're like, oh, what a great night tonight, right? We got some time. The kids are in bed. I wonder what we should do tonight, right?
And she's like, we could have strawberries.
Yeah, exactly.
We could get caught up on The Bachelor.
Yeah. It's like, what if I was just more direct? And I don't mean that in a mean way. Just saying, like, I would like to do this tonight.
Yeah, I bet you they would love that.
I bet you they would love.
And the more direct and the more descriptive, probably the more they would like it.
A lot of people would love that. Just be. So I'm committing to that in all areas of my life. Is just being a little more direct. So I'm gonna have everyone do me a favor right now. We're gonna do a little practice here. I want everyone to pause this podcast. Who listen to it? Pause it right now. I want you to text one person. One person in your world, what you want. Now, not talking about the bedroom, but like real estate wise.
Unless you're married and that is what you want.
Unless that's what you want, right? That's fine. But I loved it. Like right now, pause it and go text somebody what you want. And then I want you to do that again tomorrow. And then the next day. And I want you to get crystal clear on what it is you want. If you don't know what you want, make it up. I don't care. It's more important that you decide than what you decide.